Hello, this is Victor at HistoriaMercedes.com. This video is for Prtola Valley Garage in California. And here we have a wiring harness that I repaired that came from 1994 Mercedes SL320. This is a 6-cylinder harness. There are a few variations found in this car for this particular harness. So this is one of the versions. And part number is barely visible, but it is 129-540-5006. I put clear tape over it just so it remains on the harness. Hopefully it will remain. And I will also put a couple of zip ties here just because you do kind of want to have harness number on it. I also will make an inscription on the connector somewhere so it's not lost, because you know this, I mean, the harness is no longer available anyway, but still it's good to have this number for reference. Here it is, another number, 129-540-5006. This is the correct harness. Now there were a couple of issues here. The wires are pretty much okay except for mass airflow sensor, and that is obviously was repaired. This is the sensor connector here, so these new cables run out from the connector down, wrapped around, and then of course go into the main connector. This is the connector that connects to one side of main engine control module, and I believe it's HFM module. So that's this connector. There's two connectors on HFM module, left and right, so this is one of them. This plug is for the injector and the engine harness that go to injectors, coils, temperature sensors, and believe NOx sensors, something, yeah, NOx sensors, I believe, oil pressure gauge, I believe so too. But again, I mean, I have to look at diagrams to be 100% which exact sensors, but you get the idea. And of course, you know, mass airflow sensor goes down far out there. There's another connector, two connectors, three connectors. These are the ones that are connected in the computer box area. Believe this is a camshaft or crankshaft, one or the other. Again, this is from the old school wire, so these don't go bad on this harness. Another kind of junction box. This is probably found in the area of main power connection there next to the computer box, and that's why I just, well, yeah, so that's that. This is probably like ignition or something, ignition wire. Again, that's near main engine control module area, so this is where you usually find main power junction connection, X4, I believe it is, X4/1. Yeah, so this is probably that might be the connector for the computer box coolant fan. It looks to me like that's what it is. Again, this might be the ignition. Now I had a problem with this wire, because this wire, let me see if I have it right, 1 second. So this wire was pinched. I don't know what happened there. I believe this happened during manufacturing process, when the assembly process rather, not manufacturing. As you can see, it was squashed. This would have not been a concern to me, except that when I looked over the cable, I saw that insulation was open. So if this wire would have been squashed against ground, there might have been problems with power, battery drain, and all that good stuff. I don't see burn marks, so that makes me think that the wire was squashed somewhere between plastic parts. So that obviously would have explained that there is no burn marks on it. But anyway, it's a positive cable. You don't want any of possibilities of sort of grounding to shorten it to the ground, and therefore, I mean, God forbid it catches fire or something. So yeah, so I put in a thick gauge cable, because it is a very thick gauge cable, or relatively thick. So I put the same gauge here. I put a splice like from here all the way to the connector, and just wrapped it over, and then shrink wrapped it. So that's this area. And what else we have here? So this is the computer box connectors. I'm sorry, not the computer, fuse box. These go into fuse box. I believe these are coolant fan relays, low speed, high speed, C and D. If I remember correctly, that's what they are. Is green relay and there is a purple relay. You want to double check that the fuses are not molten in there, because they melt and your low speed fan does not work. Another sort of auxiliary connector here, and this is another extension. Again, I checked all the wires and I also rewrapped them, because original wrapping was very gluey and it was coming off. Like, this is original wrap, but this one isn't bad, so I can touch it. I don't see no glue, but the rest of it was like you could have not even touched it because the glue would just remain on your fingers. Quite nasty. So I just wrapped it over with new wrap. Here, these, I don't remember what these are for, to be honest. It's, you know, I mean, I cannot remember each and every connector. I'm taking all this info out of my head, so I go through many different wires, and this is something that is, you know, I can't physically remember each and every connector. This is an AC compressor. It's a coolant fan. These are high and low pressure sensors for AC system. Obviously, this is the ground, and this is the fan resistor connection. These have to be some sort of switchover valves, I would say so. Yeah, I would say these are switchover valves, I believe. Temperature sensor, maybe, possibly, maybe, yeah. It's temperature sensor, oil pressure sensor, one of these maybe. But if it would have been, then you would have had some oil residue. But I would say this harness is in excellent condition. So I'm thinking the car does not have many miles to it. Plus California car, so therefore it's very, very clean. Because usually harnesses do not look this clean. They're always like oily and nasty. So this is basically conclude the kind of a tour, video tour, I guess, of this harness. And just wanted to show that what was done, and it's going to be ready to be mailed out. Pretty much once I finish this video, I'll start packing. And I also, like I said, I'm going to engrave part number on this connector, so it will remain on it permanently, so it's never gonna get lost, because that's going to discolorate and it's going to be lost. And because these harnesses, they came in different variations, and by any means necessary, if you ever would need to know the part number, you kind of need to know the VIN number. And then even in the VIN number and workshop, and even in EPC, electronics parts catalog, sometimes you get false information, because there are variation. So that's what I'm gonna do, and off it basically goes back to a customer ready to be installed back in the vehicle. Alright, so this is all for me. This is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.